Hello, I'm Refik. I'm Refik Anadol. I'm a media artist, director, joining you from Los Angeles, California, from our studio. I am the artist of the Machine Hallucination. As a team, we were responsible for the application and also collaborate with Artechouse for the project.
Hi, my name is Sandro. I'm a founder of Artechouse. We are an innovative art space dedicated to the art, science, and technology. We are the ones that presented the Machine Hallucination in New York City. That was our inaugural commission work. We're really proud of because I think with this piece, we definitely pushed the boundaries and definitely showed something new to the world that has not been seen before.
So our relationship with Artechouse actually started way before the exhibition. We have been discussing about an exciting show of groundbreaking ideas. At the meantime, as a studio, another D&D award, Archive Dreaming, actually 2 years ago, we got the similar reaction from the D&D jury. But that project was 2016. It was exploring an idea of a machine can learn. And if a machine can learn, like, can it dream? If a library where the truth like comes from life, like what happens if a machine like in front of you starts learning, like what will be the reaction? So that project was starting point of using GAN algorithms, which are a very exciting field of AI, which allows machines to create almost realistic outputs based on the input. For example, if you have enough data about the text, image, and sound, the machine can look at it and create almost realistic similar experiences. So pretty much like a human goes something and learns something and remembers something. And that process, we can capture it. So archive dreaming was the early studies of it, but machine hallucination is the next level of it. So like taking that idea, but after 3-4 years later, use the world's largest ever collected data, 113 million images of New York, which still is the top of the top. We don't know any artwork ever collected this data. And then we met with, of course, Sandro, Tati, and Artechouse team, which were an incredible canvas. First of all, for a media artist, the dream is like, what is the canvas? What is the light? What is the projection? What is the like? There are so many questions there beyond just algorithms, which then the groundbreaking collaboration started when the design of the space, infrastructure, organization kicks in. So there's this like I'm calling it like a colliding two spaces, like in universe, and then the idea came.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it was I think early 2018 when we met with Refik and he came down to DC location and we immediately connected and we immediately spoke the same language, what art and technology should look like today for 21st century artists and also audience as well too. And you know, he definitely our first collaboration was his retrospective work of Infinite Space that actually right now is in Miami location, and it was first inaugural was in Washington D.C. And New York was in plans to open. So I think what was unique about the collaboration and about the synergy between 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 Refik and Artechouse was that the space in New York that we occupied, and it was never been vacant before. It was used to be boiler room, which was sitting empty for over 100 years and never been used for anything except boiling the building that located in Chelsea Market. So for me personally was, how can I bring something to New York that has never been done before, and how can we pioneer and how we really can show something that what the great collaboration and what the arts in this medium can show to the public, and how can we raise the awareness for this type of, first of all, Refik as artist, and secondly, the awareness about this type of art and respect to the for the public. So for that was something, I think it was an incredible inspiration. We right away clicked, and it was like the dream come true in a sense, and now we had to execute it. It's sometimes hard to say, if your dreams doesn't scare you, that means your dreams is not big enough, right? So I think we really pushed the boundaries with the from storytelling to the technology execution, and it really show the public the possibilities what can be done by using, of course, technology and storytelling and the right material and the content.
And what was also extremely important, I mean, as Sandro said, like, so the amount of technology is intense, like, by the way, just itself is a engineering study, but also the narrative itself, I think, I mean, when Sandro says a boiler room, it's so cyberpunk. Like, if you think about science fiction, like there's a boiler room in New York that is somehow like lost in this corner. It's taken over by these incredible like light surfaces, and you just step into this universe, and suddenly you are surrounded by these millions of particles and reconstructing itself. So it feels like a little bit science fiction, but actually you are stepping inside it. So it's not just, shiny pixels. The story is true. Like, you are really stepping inside the machine's mind, and truly a machine dream in this moment. So that is like the incredible groundbreaking experience that, like, while the technology surrounds you meticulously, by the way, because this medium may be used before, but not this level of resolution, brightness of projection, and hyperreal sound. Because when you step in this universe, literally I'm calling it a universe, because wherever you go, the sound follows you. Like, it's not just a earphone or headphone like classical experience. Like, there's a 32 channel sound like meticulously composed where you are. So like literally sound and visual like captures you, like the feature of cinema, like we were discussing with Sandro. Like, it's the feature of cinema that is not 2D screen, it is three-dimensional, and the sound follows you wherever you are, your family or friends with you, that you can enjoy together. There's a storytelling, and people don't want to go away. So I think when you go away, you have the same feeling after a good movie. Like, what did I see? Like,
Yeah.
what happened to me? So
Yeah. What was that, right? Like, that's the wow effect, and the connection was incredible. And we saw it in the many of our visitors that first time experiencing something like this. I mean, I seen people sitting for 5 hours. I seen people crying, seeing people dancing. I see those emotions where you really rarely see in any art form, where you as a public become a part of the art piece. It's fascinating, and that's the future of the art. And that's what for Artechouse, working with Refik and many artists like Refik, that's what we striking to build something for the future, and understand for public to start understanding and experiencing. And same thing where 120 years ago the movie theaters, right, start popping, and you see the Charlie Chaplin on the poster, and you see incredible like Lumiere Brothers, showing in neon projection, that people start running from the theater, and today we have cinema as incredible art form of 20th century. So I think we are at the beginning. We are at the beginning of something groundbreaking and new. Technology is there, and that's what for Artechouse is providing technology, providing the collaboration with the artists, but at the same time, those pushing the boundaries of the storytelling and creating something new that has not been done before. And I think with the Machine Hallucination, we pushed absolute boundaries of the 24th century art. It's the beginning of something new, and I feel like, I hope so. I hope that 100 years from here, when we look back, and the new generation, and if hopefully the internet will still exist, and we're still going to exist, those imagery and all the public reaction, this exhibit will go down as a pioneer and a masterpiece of this new immersive type of experiences that we will see a lot more coming. But I think being pioneer is the hardest thing to be, because we, Refik and Artechouse team, we're pushing these boundaries for people to experience it, right? And we are at the beginning of something fascinating. And I think the technology is there, and now as a humans, we need to connect and use those tools for storytelling. And that's what we're really excited of the future, how will art look. I'm coming from a traditional art form, and my family are artists and all everyone. And then, I think we're living in this 21st century where right now those type of collaboration, it's really something new in a way. It's really something that has not been technically done, where you see the teams work on this very similar, I guess, as a movie industry of 20th century, where you have directors, right, and they have a studio come in, and you have the screens that later showing those films to the public. And I think Artechouse is it's all those three combination together. Where for instance, what I was saying about the boiler room, there was an inspiration when we were start working with Refik, was seeing his work and he seeing what has he done with the data. Right away was the sparkle as an idea, as of like, whoa, hold on, how can we now tell New Yorkers the story of this building, of this space, been sleeping, dreaming what was happening 100 years over to New York, right? And capable to execute it. That's Rafik's incredible studio, able to now like diving to the data, to millions of pictures, right? And put it on the canvas. Where for my team, we gotta get this canvas ready, right? Like if you think of if we watch Avatar, right? How many years ago? It was like now 15, 20 years ago, right? And if that in that time we had the technology, right? Like it has to be timed perfectly, and that's what the time happened. Like even the old Blade Runner, right? That inspires the Refik a lot. Imagine that. It was shot in 80s, right? For that screen. And if we had the better technology of editing, it would be, but it was executed, and it was put together for the public to experience. So I think it's just a beautiful collaboration and very creative thinking, and it's less ego orientation, less put all these boundaries of the art as we know existed away, and come up with something new and groundbreaking, something that is masterpiece, something that is pioneering, something that have nobody seen before.
I mean, as Sandro says, like something never seen before, and really push for a masterpiece idea. I mean, very openly saying, I don't think anyone in any artist in the world can produce multiple masterpieces all the time and constantly. I don't think as human beings we have the capacity. So to use energy very wisely. I mean, this was an incredible opportunity, right? I mean, incredible timing, as Sandro said, by the technology, by the humanity. But over the last 4 years, as a studio, we learned a lot how to use AI, because one thing that really changed the narrative here is, I think, the AI, because AI is something we are witnessing every single day, but not everyone understands properly. We are becoming a part of these systems. It doesn't forget, and it just like remembers everything without asking us or not. Like we have something in our hands, but also the future of cinema or storytelling or experiential, worlds are not only just beautiful executed ideas, but like the depth. Like the depth, is there a depth that we can bring here that is just beyond really incredible experience, but also for someone maybe, wait, how did it happen? Like how did these images are here? What exactly I am seeing? Because there's a curious mind in the game. And then I think the audience suddenly becomes everyone, like as children, a family members, a nerd. I mean, like a nerd, little nerd one. Like I want to like learn about this algorithm. So like how to educate and really like explain this idea, right? That's one challenge. Now, what happened is we took this challenge and said, what will happen if an AI goes online and downloads everything about New York? Everything from the maps to images to like weather stations. Like imagine everything that a machine can just type New York. So we really look at it very openly, and this, I think, overkilled it. But to be honest, to make it happen, we have to like touch the edge of imagination and touch of technology. So these both edges, like we need to touch it to be able to say we did something groundbreaking. It was very painful. It wasn't the easiest thing because 130 million images, like almost like 65 terabytes of raw data. I mean, just the resolution of the screens that to be projected, to render in 6-7 months, like it's already another challenge. And then like how to explain this idea, right? Like how to make a narrative that is in 30 minutes, make people seamlessly flying in the mind of a machine, that you feel like you are like taking some locations in the mind of a machine and then land in a location that feels, oh wow, it was a ride in the mind of a machine. Like that kind of challenges all over the place. But the cool thing is, again, once the audience understands it, like once the people click, okay, it's just like step by step. People, I think, explore this little bit wide imagination, let's say, but step by step. When people learn, they just keep themselves there. People who wants to go deeper, there was a room with 3 screens that people were able to like go and watch it. Like, okay, what is the algorithm? What is the data? What is the output? Which algorithms have been used to visualize this world? So it was really very, I mean, educating. It's not just, you know, high level art on the beautiful, I mean, no offense to any art, but not just like something, a piece on the wall that you have no idea, like you are guessing and guessing. And the world, I mean, the future is not guessing anymore. The future is about questions. So, and it provoked that feeling, I guess. Thanks to this wonderful collaboration. So I think what makes the team so far fresh is, so we opened our studio 2014 summer, right after I graduated from the UCLA Design Media Arts department, where I am teaching at the moment, the medium also to the young generations. The studio right now, we are 12 people. We can speak 12 language, and we can pretty much code everyone in the studio. But the most importantly, we have different responsibilities of architects, neuroscientists, AI engineers, data scientists, anthropologists, musicians, storytellers, scholars. So really very diverse team of people imagining together. And this idea came almost like 2011. It was my last project I did myself. And I felt how annoying it is to stuck in your own talent and your mind when your ideas are bigger than yourself, which is a great example that Sandro gave, cinema. I mean, it's incredibly same thing. Like you have an idea that's bigger than you, but you need to use reality to make something unreal but feels real. So who will do that together? So I just thought that that's a starting point. And then I think over the years, we established many projects, mostly permanent public art projects, not immersive environments like this. Because our ideas didn't fit into the museum and galleries, very openly saying, like the ideas, I mean, doesn't fit into traditional locations. No offense again, but I mean, ideas are newer, better, fresher, doesn't fit into the, like, you know, you open that door, there is like some amazing paintings and sculptures. That universe didn't hold these ideas. But thanks to, again, Artechouse, this idea fits somewhere else in a much different context. The studio is developing so many technologies, mostly creating custom software. So since my 2010, I started using a software called VVVV. It's an open source custom software which you can create. To be able to create, you need to learn how to use computer graphics, basically. 2016, we started learning AI from the hands of Google Arts and Culture, where I was the first artist in resident, like the first generation, which was a huge thing because we really learned how to use AI from scratch, from the people who invented the algorithm, which people saw a lot, is morphing New York. So that's a called GAN algorithm, Generative Adversarial Network. And that algorithm invented by Ian Goodfellow. And I was a resident while he was in Google. It's like, it was a very like, you know, truly the source of algorithm was there and I was a resident. And anyway, that was just a natural learned tools. And then later we collaborated with like tech giants like NVIDIA and others because our work was really using computer graphics next level. It is not like, you know, just shiny pixels. And then we got another support from NVIDIA to use next generation of that, which is called StyleGAN 2. So StyleGAN 2 used to create, unfortunately, faces, which became a problem. And we said, like, what happens if we use it for New York or Stockholm or before Berlin or like many other cities in the world? So, but New York was our fourth cities as a research, let's call it, because the first one, Stockholm, was, I think, 18 million. And then Berlin was 28 million, but New York was 130 million. And then, like, you know, the more you have information, the AI, of course, by the way, we also use another AI to find people, to erase people. So we are ethically finding a collective memory for a collective dreaming of New York. So we are not into the selfies or sausage pizza, like it's purely ethically, like what is the image of the New York that is exactly or similarly in the people's memories? Like can a machine look at them and reconstruct this? That was the basics of the backend. And then of course the canvas starts, which is an 18 channel projection. So all this information we collected, analyzed, and sorted and all these things with, again, 12 people of, I don't know, more than 1 year we have been working, I think, Sandro, and minimum 1 year, like, and
Yeah,
then
I think that was the craziest, because we really able to execute in a short period of time. I think was less, because when we first started showcasing the Refik, we did the first retrospective exhibit, and for us was, retrospective, it's about the past, and for us we sit down and we like, okay, what can we do, and what can next thing can be, since we have the space like New York opening, and that's when the idea of machine hallucination came, where how can we use something that is latest technology, uh, latest machine learning, and latest artists in this field that pushes the boundaries. And for us as a space, we first to go back, we opened up our first location in 2017. We founded in 2015. It took us 2 years to open our first location. And for Artechouse, it's always using latest technology and latest creative approach with the technology. So for us, it's always been goal to make sure that when audience come through our door, they're seeing the latest and innovative approach of the technology and the creativity. And the goal is really to how can we educate the public of this medium of art, and how can we show as much as possible different approach and different artists, so they can start developing a taste. The public can start developing a taste. So of course, for New York was the biggest challenge is that what's the best projectors out there, right? What are the best technology out there? What are the best sound that we can create that has not been done before? And we're really proud to partner up with the Barco and L'acoustic to use the latest technology, use the latest sound channels. And I'm very proud of my team at Artechouse to be able to execute, to be able to build a machine to run this type of megapixel artwork on this top of the line projection system, which is 18 projectors, and it's just the best of the line. I mean, the machines that any artist or any art space could dream of, and we have them in New York as a permanent location, right? Like nothing like this has been done in New York as a permanent location, and a canvas for many artists that we're going to be showcasing to, and many public they're going to come through our door and experience this medium of art on the highest level as possible. So I think that was our goal, and kind of like motivation to really, how can we push the boundaries? How can we show the latest?
And by the way, as a media artist working with light as a material now 10 years, like 10 years of working with light in public space, because I've been projecting buildings like all over the Europe since 2009-10, and openly saying that when you open that door, when you step in this space, it's a very nerd, I know. Some art lovers will say, oh, it's too tech fetish. But if you are trying to render a reality that doesn't exist, every pixel, every light is the pigment, the idea. So you cannot ignore the perfection of tech if you are imagining a future that will not be like Lucy or cyberpunk and dusty and rusty. So what was very important is like you step in, you don't see a pixel. You just suddenly feel, all right, this is not like other experiences that I saw in a VR or AR. This whole thing is moving. The walls are like meticulously calculated. Every pixel was touching purposefully to create a 4-dimensional gravity effect Like it's just itself is a fluid dynamics research, like just that part. So like every chapter was really a research. Like there's a part where people were flying in 113 million images of New York. Like there is no any code in the world that was able to load 130 million images. Like to make even that scene, just that scene, is like a 3 weeks of hardcore programming. Or a last scene where for like almost 10 minutes people were surrounded by this ethereal feeling. The music was even hallucinated by machine. So we collected radio stations, TV stations, music like from New. I mean, all this data also hallucinates, and then suddenly you are in this. Where am I? Like if the visuals are not real, if the music is not real, but the pixels are real. So I mean, that question of reality, and it's I think again, it would not be happen without this incredible canvas, the experience world. So it won't fit in a VR or AR. There was no way for it. 100 sure.
Yeah. It's something that we're experiencing in the real world, and that's something that it's not replaceable with any technology or anything. No matter what's coming, or no matter what's in works, the best experience still in the physical world, and that and that's what Artechouse is about. Is to create those physical worlds where you can lose yourself in the future, in a sense, the taste of the future.
Yep.
I think I would add that I think this medium of art is a living art. It's not something that you come and hang on the wall and just walk away and be happy with. I think
you have to be there, right?
Right, and I think what was challenging is that sleepless nights where Kareem work on the sound,
Yes.
last minute editing the sound, last minute edits, last minute mapping. I mean, it's a intensive production. It's not something that you just plug and play, but it's really when you have a quality online, when you have your name online, when you have all those things, it's just that adrenaline comes last minute push, where you really then you're feeling it, you're pushing your boundaries. That I think it's like Olympics, right? Like when you you beat that clock, and you know that nobody's in the world can beat that clock right now, and you just beat it. And I think that is something that it's awarding, it's scary same time, but it's wonderful process of art, because again, like it's also been created from two studios on empty stomach. We none of us being supported by billions of dollars and be like, hey guys, here's the check, make that happen. But for us to put our last dime in a project, and last sweat and last blood and last energy, and you see the rewarding from the audience. That's most important. It's bigger than any the money can't buy that. Like that's something that it comes once in a lifetime. And it was just a beautiful stress, beautiful process, because I think that's art it's a process. We all in a process. We all, as long as we're in the process and pushing the boundaries, as long as we are innovative, approaching cool ideas, new ideas, and don't fear. Of course, the fear is always going to be there, but it's never ending process, which is fantastic, and that's what's pushed us to create something that is masterpiece, in my opinion.